Hello, welcome to the discussion on my map and variable analysis component of the project. So I'm going to step you through what the requirements are, and you can see on my Google page, I'm not sure why the hypothesis file is showing up here. I can't get rid of it for some reason. But anyway, we'll leave that for now. If you click on mind map, you can get a blank file, and this will be where you can construct your mind map. So what is a mind map? What are the requirements here? So I'm going to bring in an example here that talks about how to create a mind map. So you've seen these before, I'm sure, in one course or another. Basically, you have completed your annotated bibliography. So you have your background information from 4 or 5 different sources. You've gone through the process of creating your inquiry question or your hypothesis. Now it's a matter of figuring out what is involved in proving / disproving your inquiry question. So what you're going to basically start with is your main topic goes in the middle of the document. So we're going to write our main topic here. If you were to put your hypothesis or inquiry question into one concise statement, that's what it would look like. Now, from your annotated bibliography, you are now going to list things that contribute to that particular topic. So when we talk about this one, kind of gives you an idea of what's expected. So use different colors. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to group your ideas by color. Okay, so for example, if you're dealing with divorced parents, obviously gender, whether you're a boy or a girl that's involved, age, etc., etc. So you're starting to group your thoughts into regions, which will help you move forward and create a final document moving forward. Share it when you finish. Share it with someone that you are working with to take a look. They give you a fresh perspective, so they said, "Well, did you think about this, or what do you mean by that?" Go deeper. You can have as many nodes. Okay, this can go out. How many different nodes, and you can go as far as you want. So basically, this is a brainstorming session for you. You are going through and you are writing down everything you know about your inquiry question or topic. So nobody's perfect. It doesn't have to be nice and pretty. Okay, let your ideas explode. You just keep going, and don't worry about it being perfect. It's not being marked for how pretty it is. It's being marked on the thought process that's involved. Okay. Uh, break the on-page mentality. Your brain isn't confined to one page. So if your mind map goes on to multiple pages, so be it. It's the way it is. When you're doing your inquiry question, there's often a pro and a con, or a positive and negative, and you might be taking sides. The mind map is not a place to take sides, because what happens is if you look at both sides of the argument, what happens is that it helps you create questions for you to investigate later on when we create our survey. So your mind map, you can create. There are mind map apps or websites out there. Feel free. You can do it in here in Google Draw. It's whichever you're most comfortable with. So again, the mind map is your opportunity to brainstorm and write down everything you know. You're not really answering your inquiry question here. You are writing down everything you know about the topic that's involved. Once that's done, then you'll move into the next stage of this phase here, and it's the variable analysis. What you want to do then is you're going to look at one of your major focuses, all right? So for example, if I go back to this particular mind map, you're looking at this node as being one of the major variables. So what you want to do is you want to write the variable in the space provided, and on the discussion side, you're going to answer the following questions. So you're going to discuss how the variable will influence your data. So if we're talking about the divorce situation, you're talking about male and female. You can talk about gender. What role does gender play in the divorce? How do females versus males handle divorce of parents? Okay, and that all goes in your discussion. And this is stuff that you've taken from the annotated bibliography that you've learned through credible sources. Also in that discussion, how are you going to control it? All right, this is something that it's called a variable because it's something that you're anticipating will be different responses. So how do you plan on controlling it? So the subset of questions that you're kind of looking at is, what is it going to look like in your survey? Is it going to be a true false? Will it have to be a list question? Is there a sliding scale? You start thinking about, how are you going to approach this, or how many questions? Maybe the variable will require I need to ask the following questions. There may be 5 or 6 in there. And how are you going to pose those questions to deal with the variables? So that's speaking about the type of question you're going to ask. So in this, again, if you're going to, don't come to me and ask how many words or how big does it have to be. It needs to be as big as it is going to be for you to be successful. So you need to really think about how are you going to tackle this variable, because this is setting us up to create a really good survey and asking the right types of questions. So that's what I'm expecting with that variable analysis. And if because it's so subjective and it's different for each project, that's really the best I can do for a description at this point. But you need to have your mind map out. So if you're going to ask about the variable analysis, make sure you have your mind map out, because that's the first thing I'm going to ask for when you ask for that help. So again, it's just an extension. This project is a continuation of using your annotated bibliography, using your inquiry question to help create a mind map. Your mind map is a brainstorming of everything that's involved. And now you're starting to think about what specific components or regions am I trying to investigate here to get the answers or ask the right questions in order to prove or disprove my inquiry question. So everything's starting to tie together, and we're getting into stages that are very, very important to take your time and make sure you do properly, because it will influence how easy further future future components are going to be for this project. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I will answer them as best I can.